Please tell us about how was your year?
Man, it was very kind of you to reach out when you asked that. You're like, hey, I'd love for you to pop on and just talk about your year, talk about how you review, discuss how you're planning for next year, and kind of like what's your overall takeaways, what's your overall thoughts. My year went well, man. My year went well. It was a very, very strange year, a lot of turbulence in the market specifically, but in life, it was fantastic. And we got through and was able to achieve and have and receive so much. So one of the things I will talk about is really two aspects from a year's perspective. When you think about trading and you think about the markets, you first absolutely have to really, really remember why you're doing this, which is life, right? We are doing this to have a better life. And the name of my company, Real Life Trading, life comes before trading. So in order to have more of anything, you have to appreciate more of what you have. So when I say appreciate more of what you have, figure out how to amplify exactly the things that you have now: relationships, family, health, time. What can you do bigger? What can you do better? How can you really, really show both yourself and others that you do care substantially about those aspects of life? What are some things you can do? So from a health perspective, I'll give you a quick rundown of 2020. What year is that? 2022. For me, January of last year, I had finished previously an event called the Calendar Club in December of 2021, where I run the mile of the day every single day. So day 23 is 23 miles. Christmas Eve was 24 miles. Christmas Day was 25 miles. Even though I had all of my family in town, well, not all my family, but a lot of my family in town, and there was food, and there was gifts, and there was presents, I still had to be available during all the good times. So that required me waking up at 4 a.m. and going out and running 12 miles, then coming back and spending all day with my family, spending all morning with my family, doing the breakfast thing, doing the lunch thing, doing the gifts thing, the pajamas, the hot cocoa, the movies, the popcorn. And then at 8 o'clock, when everyone's about to go to sleep, I have to go out and run a half marathon, 12 plus 13, 25 miles on the day. It's those commitments that you make to both yourself and your family that will show you how serious you are to grow. But you have to appreciate the things that you have now even more to have even more. So come January of 2022, I was sitting around a table with men who I would consider to be much stronger than I am physically. Very strong military men. And we were just talking about the challenge I just did, and they were discussing their challenges and what they wanted to do for the year. And I asked the question, how many push-ups can you do? What's the most amount of push-ups you've ever done in your entire life? And most of the answers were somewhere between 500 to 1,000 was the most amount of push-ups they've ever done in a day. And I just simply asked the question, could we do 10,000 in a day? And everyone went around the table saying, nope, that's impossible. There's no way. Can't do 10,000. So I go on YouTube or Google, searched it, found out that there was a Romanian gentleman who did 46,001 push-ups in 24 hours. You can all probably assume, you guess what he looks like. But that was a great example of, okay, this is doable. This actually is physically possible. How am I going to do it? So in February of this year, I did a calendar club challenge for myself, 100 times the day in push-ups. So day 25, I did 2,500 push-ups, day 26, day 27, so on and so forth. So for the whole month, doing approximately 40,000 push-ups in a month. that trained me for the eventual goal of doing 10,000 in a day in April of 2022. That day for me was a 24-hour day. I woke up at 3 a.m. and I budgeted the entire day to do these push-ups. It was a Saturday, and a lot of individuals might think in their head, okay, Jeremy's just going to do as many push-ups as he can and then rest. I did 10 push-ups every 60 seconds for hours at a time. I only had to get 500 push-ups done per hour for 20 hours. So there was 4 hours left for eating, napping, showering, resting, stretching, all the things. I'm not saying these things to impress anyone here. I'm saying these things to impress upon you that anyone can do anything with second grade math. So for me, it was sitting down, just asking myself, what do I need to do to accomplish this goal? So then in June, July, August, I started taking it a little bit easy. And then I began to train for an Ironman, which was a goal that I had never thought humanly achievable before. And I completed the Ironman in September. A few weeks after completing the Ironman, which is 2.5-mile swim, 114-mile bike ride, and then you run a marathon. After the Ironman, 3 weeks after the Ironman, I did the 29029 Everesting event, where you climb the equivalent of Everest in 36 hours. Then I took October, November to kind of like rest and recalibrate. And now in December, I'm doing a jump rope challenge, which is 100 times a day of jump ropes. Again, having a mindset of perpetual growth, that challenges are easy, that your schedule is easy, that you have tons of time, tons of money, you have everything that you need now, and you appreciate it even more to have even more. So go ahead and write that down if you're taking notes, because I'm going to ask Pete for just a quick second to come back on, and I'm going to go into the next aspect of my life for the year. So the thing I want you to write down, for me to have more, I need to appreciate more of what I have now. So Pete, what would that look like for you on a health basis for 2023? What are some ways that you could appreciate even more the health that you currently have?
Yeah, man. Well, I'm just as you, a physical kind of guy, but I have found myself having a hard time getting into my fitness routine again after I came back home. As you know, I moved back home, and you know, all the schedules are messed up, you know, compared to the last 4 years. So yeah, one thing is work out at least an hour a day. Find a space to do that. Also do the miracle morning that Tracy and Kristen talked about in the elevated podcast. Elevated Trader podcast. I really like that. So I've started doing that, and I'm going to do that more consistently. So those two things definitely is going to be things that I'm gonna do for the next year. And then I have a goal set. I need to do the CrossFit workout called Murph in less than 45 minutes every month.
Wait a minute. So you're gonna do a Murph, and the goal is you have to do one Murph less than 45 minutes every month for next year?
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Well, you have to.
That's a great goal, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Have to have the levels, right?
Yeah. Yes. Because again, team, that's where we're talking when we're discussing growth. This is what growth looks like. Is you have to sit down for a moment and appreciate what you have. So our boy Pete, he has health. So to appreciate it more, you have to sit down and get creative on how can you challenge yourself to continually push your health. Because to show yourself that you want more, you have to appreciate more. I love that, man. That's a great goal. Okay, so let's go into family and relationships then for me for last year. Family and relationships for me last year is I hired a coach to work with both myself and my wife on our relationship, just me and her. Just me and her, not the kids, just me and my wife.
Cool.
What are some things that I can do to tweak? What are things I can do to adjust? How can I get better? So we also have some retreats at our home where we invited other couples and other people for me to learn from them. The people that have been married 25 years, getting their tips, getting their secrets, getting their awareness, getting their understandings, implementing that into my life. So we have family, we have fitness, all right? Another F, faith. Whatever your faith is, how can you challenge it more? How can you appreciate it more? How can you grow more in your spiritual awakening, your religious studies, whatever it is that excites you and encourages you? What more can you do? Can you give more? Can you pray more? Can you read more? Can you study more? Can you connect with individuals that maybe you haven't connected with in your church or in your community or in your fellowship or in whatever it is that you love and that you appreciate and that you are studying? So those F's, right? The fitness, family, faith, and then of course, finances. So when we're talking about the stock market, which is my finance world, that's what I want to live in, that's what I want to be in. The number one question that we have to ask ourselves is, what is the trend? It's the number one question.
Yeah, man.
What is the trend? Because most individuals who lose money are losing money because they are fighting the overall trend. So let that sink in for just a moment, because that's generally the case. Again, not always, but it oftentimes is, right? If we are losing money, it's because we are fighting the overall trend, bullish or bearish. So if the trend is going down and you're fighting it, you're going to lose. If the trend is going up and you're fighting it, you're going to lose. Now, I agree that you might be thinking, that we all might be thinking, well, the trend can change. It depends on what time frame you're on. And that's exactly correct. So if you can go back and practice your time frames, practice what time frame do you need to trade on? What time frames are more important to you as a trader? Is it the daily chart? Is it the 3-minute chart? Is it the weekly chart, the monthly chart? I think at some point in time, you should be able to analyze and diagnose on all of those what the trend is. And you can come up with a moving average. You can come up with an indicator. You can come up with an oscillator. You can come up with whatever you want to say, hey, this is the trend. But then once you understand what the trend is, if you do not follow it, you're not going to make money. If you want to make more money, you have to know what the trend is. And I think a lot of us were like, wow, I made tons of money in what, 2018, 2017, 2019, maybe 2020, and then the tail end of 2020. If you go back and look at all of your accounts, if you're losing money, it's because you were still bullish. You didn't realize, wow, let me lock in gains, let me lock in profits, let me pull out my money, let me do something with it, right? Let me go buy some assets, let me take some of my money from my account, put it into something safe, and then when the trend changes. So if you got caught off guard by a giant trend change, welcome to the party. I've done that before. That's how I learned my first big lesson. You all know that I bought silver at the highest price ever, and I lost probably more money than all of you combined. And it wasn't even my money. So when you're thinking about like, okay, how can you recover from this? I mean, if you're down and out and you're just struggling, you're angry and you're upset, that's okay. Use that fuel, use that anger, use that annoyance in the market as a passion to go study. When did the trend change? How would you have known it? Could you have known it? What were the signals to look for? And how can you build either a plan or some rules or some type of guideline or some type of system that you could analyze when that trend changes so that you can have it for the future? So what I'm going to do is share my screen, just since I know we're here to talk a lot about stocks and a lot about the market, is let's go look at the broader market. I'm just going to look at the NASDAQ for a moment. And I'm going to go ask the question, when did the trend change? And what signals would we have? And now at this stage, the only way we can know is in hindsight. That's fair. That's okay. But if we go back in hindsight and we just begin to look, and we go, all right, when would we have known? How could we have known? At what stage would we have had to look at this and go, wait a minute, something's up? Because you can take that information and apply it to the future you, to the future trader who is trading either a bull market or a bear market. Because right now, I know the market's in a bearish trend, and we're going to stay in a bearish trend until that trend reverses. And so what we should all be doing now is learning how to trade markets as they go down. If you don't like doing that, then don't trade, because that markets are going lower. If you hate making money as the markets go down, turn your computer off and wait a couple of years, all right? Because that's the only way to make money right now, because that's the trend. So when do you get these massive changes? All right, so let's kind of pop in here, and I'll show you when I thought something was happening. Nothing into here, nothing special at all normal, all good. But right about here is when I thought something might start to shift. So we're going to go back to January 6th, 2022, a year ago. And again, this is the NASDAQ. So I'm going to hide all the drawings, all the things. I'm not even going to use moving averages. I'm not going to use charts. I'm not going to use anything. I'm just going to zoom out here for a second. I'm going to look at it and I'm going to go, okay, we're a little high, right? We've had pullbacks before, but we're high. I mean, if you're going to go from the bottom of COVID to the top of where we're at right now, that's 127%. Okay, but let's not do that. Let's go year to year. Okay, so let's go January 2020 to January 2022. So in 2 years, the NASDAQ is up 77%. Pete, you've read every article and everything in the world about stocks forever. What's the average that people say the stock market goes up every year?
I'd say around, if you buy your regular ETFs, you can make 7% a year, right?
Okay. So that's the average, right? I was like, hey, you 7%, if you're doing this is good. This is up 77% in 2 years. That's a 35% on average over every year. So are we high? Yeah. Are we beating the average? So yeah, we're decimating it, right? Over a 2-year time frame, if all you did was just buy this ETF and do nothing else, you're up a lot. So, okay, that means that we have to sit down and think about the next time this happens, which it will again, and I hope all of you make tons of money as it goes up. If you look at the markets, you're like, wow, it's been 5 years and the market's gone up on average 135% or 35% per year for the last 5 years. I think I'm gonna lock in some profits here. I think I'm gonna take some money off the table and buy some real estate or buy some buy a house or do whatever, right? Buy something else, buy an investment, buy coaching, buy mentorship, whatever you want to buy. But spend your money wisely. And again, I think that that's a valid understanding, a valid appreciation. But all right, all that being said, if I'm looking at this particular chart, here's what I'm seeing. I'm simply seeing a resistance here. So this is old resistance. And I'm seeing some support here. Boom, boom, boom. And it looks to me like, again, just practicing, looking at chart patterns, looking at previous reversals. You have move, you have a move, and then you have like a double shoulder, head and shoulders thing. Because at this stage, I can draw a low. I can draw this. And I can go, okay, this is a lower high. And we're at a big support. There is absolutely no reason that we should take out this candle, especially anytime soon. Because if we take out that candle anytime soon, things are going to get kind of rough. Things are going to get kind of bad. So if we go all the way back, let's do this again. So the dramatic effect is there. So we're zooming back in here. We're looking at this candle. We can see, okay, we have the head and shoulders. We have the pattern. We have the candle. The very next candle that comes in, we did, in fact, close below that candle. So those people are losing money. The next day, All right, we're back on. All is good. Strong hammer, strong buying. This is just some type of weird correction. No big deal. All is good in the world. We're going to bounce. We're going to go higher. Fair. But now you have your line in the sand. Now look at this volume. I mean, if we zoom out, that volume here on that day is the biggest buying volume. And again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see this is the biggest buying volume since March of 2021. Great. So we should skyrocket from here. We should go up. We should go higher. That's the end of the pullback. The market's going to keep grinding higher. Wonderful. So look at this. Beautiful. We bounce. Amazing. All good. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. Problem. Big problem. Big problem. This is January 19th of 2022. This is a year ago. This is when I said to everyone in RLT, guys, this is a huge problem. There is absolutely no reason that we should close below this candle. And from a technical analysis standpoint, again, I'm not saying you have to be a specialist at trading, but we can look at this and practice this because this is a trend reversal. This is what has to happen for me to know where a trend is reversing. I did not call the top here. I did not call the top here. I did not call the top here. I called the top here. Now, if we're looking at it, that means that from the high to here, I missed a 10% pullback on the market. I was not good enough to know until it had already dropped 10% that there was a problem. And I'm going to say this as humbly as I can. If I don't know until a 10% drop, you have no chance. Okay? So don't stress about it is what I mean. Like, don't worry that if you aren't the person that says right here is the exact high of the market, we're going to go lower. Even me or any other professional, it's not evident until here that we're making clear lower lows and lower highs. And now we get news that the interest rates are going to go up and all these things. And so this is what happens after we close below that candle. You see how quickly we sold off? That is fear. That's what fear looks like. That's when you start to know, oh, something's up. Because now we have a strong drop in the market. Okay, but let's say that you're still not convinced. You're still not convinced, and you say to yourself, all right, this is, we can bounce from here. This is just, the trend's still bullish, whatever. Well, we all know that there's absolutely no reason on earth for us to take out this candle at any point in time in the next few weeks. Maybe we bounce from here and all is good, and we're back off to the races. That's exactly what happens. We bounce, we're good. Oh, and then another one. Another lower low. When markets make lower lows, the trend is bearish. So even if you're back trading and you're just looking at what causes the markets to reverse, use the historical analysis for you to start painting a picture of these chart patterns. Because we're in a bear trend right now, my dear friends, and it's going to reverse at some point. So you're going to want to know what it looks like when it reverses. And then when we get back into that bull trend at some point will reverse. So you're going to want to know when that bull trend reverses what it looks like. And then you're going to want to start practicing strategies of what strategies do you use and what candles and what sentiment can we clearly see, even if you don't know what you're looking at. Because what most traders who are newer, they go, Jeremy, I don't know what to look for. I'm just looking at candles. I'm not even sure, like, what am I supposed to be doing? Just get screen time. I know that sounds crazy, but if you just get screen time, just looking at what happens in the markets, you can always eventually understand and believe that it will click. It'll just start playing out where you don't want to short here. You don't want to get in bearish here. This is where you get out of your positions, right? You want to get into your bearish positions here. And it hasn't even happened yet, get in up there, right? Allow for that bounce, rotation, and then you get in. Allow for the bounce, rotation, and then you get in. You don't get in at the exact highs or the exact lows, but you get in on those retracements, those rotations. So you kind of just start practicing it. And so for me, this is what I would say that this is what you guys should spend the next 2-3 weeks doing, is just simply studying the 2022 trend reversal market and realizing that this has been my prediction right here for the last 2 months, that we're going to have some highs, we're going to have some chops, but we are eventually right here going to go lower, and we will. We're going to continue to go lower, and whatever retracements that come in are going to fail, and we're going to go lower. Why am I saying that with such conviction and confidence? Because the trend is bearish. We will not reverse until we make new highs. And I don't know when we're going to make new highs. Doesn't matter. But until we do, we don't. That's just like when I was saying the market was bullish in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Remember COVID? Well, in COVID, we were bouncing off moving averages. The moving averages hadn't curved yet. We weren't below all of them for a long period of time. We got below them for 2 weeks, and then we were back above them again. So it was as quick and as fearful as it was. The trend was still bullish. Nothing changed. But as of this stage, this is what we just back traded. What we were just analyzing was over here. That's what we analyzed. And look how far down we've come since then. The other thing to really analyze and ask yourself the question is, how many trades did you take last year? That's something that you should study. That's the number that you should know. One of the words for your analysis, creation, and growth should be measure. How many trades did you take last year? How did you perform on those trades? How did you do on those trades? What were those trades? And share them with someone. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be a coach. You don't have to pay for it. You can post on your Facebook. You can post it on whatever other social media you're on. You don't have to do anything, but walk through it and know your numbers, because trading is a business. Imagine if I had a business and Pete says, hey, Jeremy, how many units of bread did you sell? And I go, I have no clue. I'm a baker, but I have no idea how many bread loaves I sold. It's not good, right? You need to know your numbers. So going forward, the best advice for next year is figure out the 3 or 4 things that you obviously did incorrect and do better at those. Figure out a way to change them and figure out a way to eliminate them. And then to get more of anything, appreciate what you have. Go back and look at the things that you did correctly. Go back and look at things you did do right. Even if you don't feel like it's a lot now, you did something, right? Everyone here did something that was amazing, because I don't know where your trading is, guys. I don't know where your profitability is. I just know from a big scope, everyone here did something amazing last year. Maybe it will celebrate your daughter's 15th birthday, and you were there and you were present and you weren't on your phone and you weren't stressed, and you and her had a great relationship. Maybe you bought your dream car. Maybe you updated the garden that you've been promising your wife that you can update for 6 years. And finally, it's here. Finally, it's available. Finally, it's ready. So think of the things that you did accomplish beautifully last year, and then figure out how you can do that more in 2023. One of the challenges that I offered a lot of individuals, a lot of traders back in the beginning of this year was get into short collars, right? Start learning how to play short collars. So some people are like, I don't even know what a short collar is. What is that? Great, go study it. Learn different strategies, because some markets will require different strategies. It's that simple. And if you're only able to go bullish, let's say that's the only thing you can do because you're trading an IRA and that's the capital that you have available at your disposal. Then start practicing trading these things bullish, right? These inverse ETFs. Start practicing them, start analyzing them. When can you get in? When can you get out? If most of you live in Denmark, I mean, potentially there's a chance that you can have a lot of your workday finished by the time the market opens.
Exactly.
So what if you can pop into a 3-minute chart, and the only trade that you do bullish, the only ones are day trades on SQQQ. And you're only looking for bullish opportunities based on a particular strategy. And that's the only thing that you can do bullish, right? So you're able to take this move bullish today right here. And so imagine if the only thing you do is you day trade the SQQQ bullish after you get off the market, after you get home from work, because this is the only way that you can participate in the down market because you're trading in an IRA. That's okay. Practice it, study it, find out when the days are best, find out what edge looks like for the SQQ, find out when you would know to get in. And on that note, I will tell everyone here, the best day trading edge is if the, whatever, let's just say stock has broken past the prior high of day, low of day, or opened past the prior high of day, low of day. That's going to create edge because that's where stops are located. So I'll show you a trade that I took on Tesla today. It's very, very boring. It's not exciting. You guys will not think I'm cool. It's extremely, extremely boring. I'm going to pop into Tesla and I'm going to look at this morning. So this is yesterday. I want everyone to type in, it can be in any language that you prefer because I have a translator. What's the overall trend on Tesla? So this is the only thing I'll give you right here. All right. All of you are saying bearish. That's correct. Okay, perfect. So if at the very, very beginning, when I talked about how you're going to make money in the markets, what was that?
Follow the trend.
Follow the trend. That's how you're going to make the most money. That's how you have the most money and the least stress, is just follow the trend. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be able to take trades if you're only following the trend. And it also means that you're going to get really frustrated when you do take a trade in that direction and you lose. But if you stick to the trend, you stick to the trade, you stick to the setup, you're going to have really, really good results. So, okay, the trend is bearish. So I take Tesla bearish. That was my thought process. My thought process is, okay, I'm going to take trade on Tesla bearish today. Now, what I just wrote down, high of day, low of day. That's the only time I can take a trade. Now, my boy Pete has gone through some mentorships with me before, so he knows this rule. If I'm day trading, one of two things has to happen. The stock has to either break the low of the day or the high of the day, or has to open above the high or the previous low. That's it. If one of those things do not happen, guess who doesn't take a trade? This dude. So that way, imagine having trading so easy that you just pull up the chart and you already know what you're going to do before it even does it. I knew I was going to trade Tesla bearish today because that's the trend. And I knew that I was only going to take Tesla if it broke the high of the day or the low of the day. Because I knew it wasn't gapping above the high of day or low of day. It was gapping right here in the orange line when the market was opening. So that means that I have to wait. Pete, what do you think on a percentage scale, 1 to 100, how many, or what will be the percent of time that I do not take a trade at all?
Oh, that's high. I know you like to trade, but I also know that you have so many rules in place that I'd say 75% of the times you don't trade.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So listen to that very closely. 75% of the time, that means all I'm doing is sitting there thinking and analyzing and trading and waiting. But I'm waiting for something very specific. I know what I'm waiting for. And if you're day trading or swing trading, it doesn't matter. But you have your exact setup. You're like, this is what I'm going to wait for. And when this shows up, then I'm going to get into the trade. Because when you back trade, ladies and gentlemen, that's what you do that well, right? All of you are waiting. And I know that Peter has a really, really cool back trading program coming up for you guys pretty soon.
Oh,
so make sure to be a part of that. But when you're back trading, you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and then you get into a trade. But in real life, you're taking a trade, you're taking a trade, you're taking a trade, you're losing, you're losing, you're losing, you're losing. And then when the trade comes up, you don't take it because you lost so much and you're scared. How do I know that so well? Because I've done it. I've been there. I know how that feeling is. So I'd rather not lose money and not be wrong than take trades. I realized that at a pretty early age in my trading career. So I'll say it again. I'd rather not be in the trade and not lose money than to be in a trade and lose money, than to be in a trade and trade just because I want to trade. I love money. And so the more I say that, the more I don't want to give it away to the market just haphazardly. I love giving money away because it makes me feel great, but I don't want to give it to people who just outplay me in the market because they're more patient than I was. That's kind of lame. All right, so I'm going to walk you through the guys through the trade. So true or false? I'm waiting for, since it's not gapping above the higher of the day or low of the day, I'm waiting for a lower high of the day break. The answer is, yep, my boy Thomas got it correct. It's true. All right, so I'm popping into a 3-minute chart, and the prior low of day is right around this really, really interesting candle. What would you call this candle here, Peter?
That's a very high wave-ish candle, isn't it?
High wave candle. So I saw this candle before the market opened. I said, okay, cool. Here's my support. Here's my resistance. Let's see what happens. This is the prior low of day, or very close to it. This is the prior high day, or very close to it. So it looks like I'm just going to wait until this candle gets taken out. All right, let's go wait with Jerremy. So there we go. Candle's taken out. So I already know I'm able to take a trade. Now that was the low of pre-market. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my lines on in just a second. So I'm going to turn my lines on. So here we go. So I know this is a lot of lines, but so this is also a 3-minute chart. So I know that this is, that's gotten taken out. Very next candle is a bullish candle. This is an inside candle. I'm excited about this candle. Looks good. All right, another bull candle. So we're going higher. You guys already said the trend was bearish, right? So I know I'm looking to short. So what would I rather do? Would I rather short here on the orange line, or would I rather short here on the red line? So the answer is you always want to sell higher if you can. Right? You always would prefer to sell. If you already know the trend, there's no need to wait for confirmation. A lot of people will say confirmation is waiting for a close below the support. I would not argue that. I would just simply say that once you know the trend, you do not have to wait for anything to confirm. You already know what the trend is. So if the trend, and you know the trend to be bearish, get in as high as you possibly can. The higher you get in, the more likely you're going to be able to lower your stop at some point and have the trade start rolling over in your favor and make money even quicker. All right, so the next candle comes in. Huge bull candle. So would you have gotten triggered in if we went below the low of this candle? And the answer is nope. So you're still hanging out. You're waiting. You're like, okay, cool. Just waiting to see what Tesla's going to do. Just waiting for my setup. Now you get a bear candle coming in, closing above the 10 EMA. So if you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to go bullish, your entry could be there, your stock could be there. Am I going to go bullish on Tesla? I mean, I could have the capability to do so. It's just one button click. But if the trend's bearish, I'm going to look for a bearish trade. That's what, because again, you're going to make the most money just trading the direction. It's just easier. Am I going to miss out on all kinds of bull money if all my friends start making money on Tesla and I'm over here just crying like a baby? Yes. But I'm also crying like a baby and I had not lost any money either. Remember, I'd rather not lose money than be in a trade. Either way, the bull trade wouldn't have triggered anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant. Here's a bull candle right here, closing below the 10 EMA, giving you an opportunity to actually enter even higher than you would have entered earlier in the day. So remember, a few moments ago, we said, hey, we could enter right here, right below that candle. Well, now we have the ability to enter even higher. We could enter right here if we wanted to. Entering in even higher than that. Okay, So next candle pops bullish. So here is where my wife says, hey, Jeremy, I need you to take me to the airport. The Uber gets canceled. I'm like, okay. So I don't know what happens next. I mean, I can show you. I'm going to walk you through it. But after this candle comes in, I was like, well, hey, you know what? I didn't get triggered in, so I guess I'm just not going to worry about it. Whatever. I'm going to go take my wife to the airport. Hilarious, because it just ends up crushing. And my entry would have been really, really nice below this candle. But hey, all good. No worries, right? This is the life part. But this purple line that you see here, this purple line is the prior low of day. So if I'm watching Tesla, when I get back from the airport, which is where I am at right here. So I'm getting back from the airport. This is trading at support. I already know the trend's bearish. I already know I wanted to enter up here anyway. So that's exactly what I do. I can see that I want to enter. I create my entry to short here, place my stop loss above this pivot here, and I place my 1.2 Rs right here at a new low of day. So the only thing that has to happen for me to win on this trade is Tesla trades up into that double top, rolls down, and I'm done. Game over. Your boy made his money. That's it. Let's see if that happens. Next candle comes in, another bull candle. I leave this candle, I leave this trade open, bearish. And now I go, okay, we are trading sideways at support. You do have bull candles coming in. So these bull buyers are trying to buy, and they're trying to recreate this move that happened right here. So if for some reason we break below, I already know the trend. And if we break below, we're going to be breaking below the low of the day, and we're going to be breaking below some bull candles. And I think there's a chart pattern called a flag, which means that the volume is declining and you have a bunch of small little candles coming in. So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to create two orders, whichever one triggers first. So I'm going to have my short entry to go in here if these bull candles get taken out, and I'll have my short entry up here if it goes above there. Next candle, we're still trading sideways. I don't trigger in bearish on either trade setup. Next candle, I get triggered in bearish right here. I cancel this order, right? And now I know, I feel like maybe I'm wicked in. Maybe I placed my entry a little too aggressive, but I'm not going to lower my stop. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to simply say, okay, if we keep trading sideways, we need to take out the low of this candle for me to win on this trade. So we come in. So now we're consolidating. You guys can see the consolidation. We can feel the pressure. And when that candle comes in, this candle closes below all of the support that I had. Close below here, close below here, close below here, and closes below the prior low of day. And now I take my stop loss and I move it like a robot from -1 to -0.7. So I'm sure you've all seen this a million times. Peter's talked to you guys about this a million times. This is how I move my stop. -1 R, -0.7, -0.5, -0.2, profitable. And on a 3-minute chart, I do that about every 30 minutes. Because that way I can measure very clearly, did I follow my plan? Did I follow the rules? Did I do what I said I was going to do, what I'm supposed to do, what I thought I was going to do, all those fun things? Did I do it correctly? All right, so I move my stop down. It's above that upper shadow. Right, cute little indecision candle comes in, whatever, nothing special. Feeling like a hero. Loving life. Lower my stop from 0.7 to 0.5. Like a robot. So now my stop is here at 0.5. And hit my target, 1.2. That's it. Done on the day.
That's a very nice trade.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, man. But here's what's easy, guys, is this can be you every day. I'm not going to win in 1.2 hours on every trade, obviously. But if I know what I'm going to do ahead of time, I have a basic, easy, simple strategy that it's really, really hard to mess up. And you're just looking for the same thing all the time, every day. You're going to realize that trading is boring, and all we're doing is we're messing up the boringness because we want to be excited, and our brain tells us that it should be harder than it is. Because you might have a belief that you have to work really, really hard for money. You might have that belief. When in reality, that move on Tesla, I mean, you could have made $12 million on that move. That's crazy. I mean, I didn't make that, obviously, but I mean, it was available. That move that I just showed you on Tesla was almost $1 billion US of currency fluctuation.
That's crazy.
Crazy. So it's like, how many trades do we have to take to make $1 billion? It's like, well, apparently not many, just one good trade. So in 2023, the answer is wait longer and know what the trend is. And once you know what the trend is, once you're comfortable with the trend, get in as high as you can or buy as low as you can, but make sure you are trading the trend. And measure and review and look at as many trades as you possibly can for last year. Figure out the things that you did wrong. Figure out how to tweak those and adjust those and implement those. Figure out the things that you did right. Amplify those and continue to live with the mindset that we can always appreciate more of what we have. We can always do better. And when you do that, you will be given more on the other parts of your life. But you have to figure out how to appreciate more of what you have now. Doesn't matter if it's family, fitness, faith, or finances. But those are the 4 F's that all of us want more of. So, Peter, I don't know if anyone wants to ask questions, but I'm wide open, man. You tell me how I can help. And best
Sure. I've got a question from here. We've, going across the board, having talking to most of our members about this, a recurring theme is the psychological part. How do you become this robot who's not psychologically tied to your trades? I know you and I talked about it a few times, and you and I are both a little, what's the right word? Quick to act, and therefore you have very many rules, and so do I in place. You're far more experienced than any of us here. How have you learned through the years to control all the emotions and to take those good traits?
I can't control the emotions. I'm aware of them. I mean, that's the answer. And like, here's an example. Every one of us here wants more money. That's an emotion. How come none of us have robbed a bank? It's a way to go get more money. Like, we can go rob anyone and go get more money, but there's a consequence that comes with that. So the emotion we're aware of, but the only reason we're controlling it is because there's a big enough pain associated with it. So if you are trading, there needs to be some type of pain evolved that's so high that it literally terrifies you from making that mistake again. And if you have a fear of taking a trade, right, that fear, that's an emotion, you can have a pain that's associated with not taking trades. Or if you're like me and Pete, where that's not a problem, you have the pain for taking the trades. And you have to continually understand that it is psychological, because at some point, me and Pete have put ourselves through all kinds of physical pain. So then I realized, okay, that's actually less painful now than me going and doing like a 4-day silent retreat where I have no phone, no computer, no charts, no market. It's just me and a pen and paper. Oh, that sounds horrible. To me, some of you guys might love it, but that sounds painful to me. So that'll be some of my pain going forward, where if I start breaking some rules, I know that I'm going on a silent retreat. So it's like, geez, man, there are certain things that you're going to have to learn the psychology of you. And the only way you're going to learn that is to read a bunch of books, right? Read a bunch of books on you, on psychology, on mind, on religion, on beliefs, to understand why you tick the way you tick, why you think the way you think, how you're designed. I've taken, Peter, man, I'm not exaggerating, probably 25 different personality tests this year to learn more about me. Enneagrams, DISC, human design, everyone knows Myers-Briggs. So it's like just studying those and learning those so you can learn more about you and how you're wired is a big one.
Hey, thanks, man. That's one of the, I think that's one of the most recurring things that we talk about in Real Trading Denmark is, I've been whipped around now for 5 losing trades in a row, and I'm just like feeling that I need to throw around the keyboard or whatever is close to me and these things. And this year's been hard. It took us a while to learn that we were bearish and not bullish.
Yeah, it does, man. And that's okay. And that's absolutely okay. But as Simon's saying, like, how do you control your feelings when you first start trading? I mean, you don't even know what your feelings are, right? You don't even know if they are. You just know fear and excitement, really. You don't know any of the other feelings. So it's like anything else. If I was starting to learn how to play golf and I want to play golf as a profession, I would know now what to do because I've become a professional at something that can become a high income. Because money does have an impact. And if you are doing a profession, any profession can have a very, very, very high income potential if you want to. It doesn't matter if you're a baker, right? You can bake cakes, but if you make the best cakes in the world and you have a very, 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 very target market on who you apply it to, you can charge hundreds of thousands of dollars for a wedding cake. People will pay it. So any high income skill that you want, once you've learned how to master it, and a lot of us here, you've probably mastered another skill of some kind. So go back to the mastery of the thing that you've done, electrical engineering, military, teaching, and go, all right, what were all the things that I had to teach myself and learn in that skill set? And then sit down and just go, okay, I had to learn this, and I had to learn this, and I had to learn this, I had to do this, and I had to apply this. Take all that application and put it towards this career. Because yeah, if you're brand new, spend money and spend time to shorten that learning curve as quick as possible so that you can learn exactly what those emotions are and how to not control them, but be aware of them. Because sometimes, man, if I feel like I'm really, really, really stressed, I just walk away from the computer because I can't control that. I'm not good enough to be a robot to go, even though I'm stressed and me and my wife are having this financial issue, I'm going to trade just fine. And like, no, I can't do that. So I'm aware that I'm financially stressed because whatever just crumbled and I got to pay for it. And I wasn't expecting it. So it just frustrates me. I know I'm aware of it. So I just don't trade.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. Don't trade if you're stressed out. Anders actually has he's got a point system. So every day when he sits by the computer, he'll evaluate himself. Where is he on a scale from 1 to 3? And if it's not 3, then he won't trade. That's cool. Pretty cool.
So cool. Love it.
Any of you other guys have any questions? Just type them in the chat, and I have a few questions, but let's go with this one. So last year you came up with a 10 EMA strategy, and you kind of have this. You devote 1 year for one strategy, or you focus on different ways. Are there any new strategies coming up for 23 that we need to learn quick?
Not really. I mean, the 10 EMA strategy was really cool, but I think the next ones are I'm just going to be practicing collars for people. I think just stock collars, buying the stock and getting into an option trade, both long and short. So long collars and short collars, because I think buying the stock and sitting on it and using the options as a hedge calms people down a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's the options on how people lose money. I haven't met anyone like, oh, I lost all my money in stock trading. No, you didn't, right? Everyone who's lost money did it from trading options. And so buying them and selling them just too big, right? That's how I did it.
No, yeah, me too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how most people lose their money, is trading options. It's not trading stock. So going to stock and just realizing, hey, it's a 30% gain. If you can make 30% on your account every year, you're good. It'll take you 4 or 5 years, and then it starts to compound really, really quickly. So yeah, it's a great one. I got 4 more minutes before I'm gonna hop into another webinar with Matt, where we're going to look over the robot results.
Cool.
My future plan for real life trading US in 2023, Simon. That's a great question, man. I mean, I just want to partner with companies, countries, big institutions, schools, universities, where I can hopefully send people through programs just like you guys have in Denmark. I mean, how cool would it be for Peter to connect with a really high up government official in Denmark, where people go, all right, you know what, Peter, I'm going to send 2,000 people through your program so they can all learn this skill set.
We would like that.
I would love that, man. Like, it's going to be so cool, because that's a direct financial implication, because I realize that stock trading isn't the only path to financial freedom by any means. It's a path. It's not the path. But in order to find the path, you will have to walk down this path. And for people to, once they kind of realize that and that connects with them closely, yeah, things can be really, really, really powerful once they just get that awareness. And so that's a big plan for me, Simon, just bigger connections on a bigger scale, both globally and locally. Cool.
Yeah, you are funding the schools in Honduras tomorrow for your ultra back trading marathon, right?
Yep, that's gonna be so cool. I thought it was a super awesome name, so I was really excited about coming out with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna join you, because then I'll have a few hours with you tomorrow, and then I'll do our 12-hour one on Thursday.
Love it, man. Well, I love having you in my life, Peter. Thank you for enriching lives globally and helping so many people in your country and in your language. Just be aware of this, because, man, I know sometimes that you can feel like, especially me and you, we have very similar personalities. Like, we can beat ourselves up pretty easily if we don't have the results that we thought we want in our head, whatever those results might be. 1,000 people is like, oh, I only helped 100. Continue doing that at scale, and the tipping point happens very quickly. And it's one of those things that the more open, the more transparent, the more vulnerable we are with everyone in our story, more power comes from that, because people want to relate to how you became a hero rather than you are a hero. Because most people aren't heroes in their own lives. They're striving to be that hero. And so if we can continually show them and teach them how to do it while we're there, I'm talking to all of you who are here, that's how we do it, is we do it through our story, and we do it through sharing. So it's an amazing community. I'm super happy that you guys are a part of it, and that you're a part of this team and this movement, because real life trading is not a company, it's a movement. And so, Peter, thanks for heading this up, man. I appreciate you immensely.
Definitely. Hey, Jeremy, thank you very much for coming. This was, awesome. Really appreciate it. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next year.
Thanks, dude. Likewise, man. You rock.
See you, man. Okay, og til alle jer, der sidder derude nu på dansk, så husk, at I kan gå ind på realtrading.com, altså den amerikanske hjemmeside, i morgen, eller i aften, og melde jer til deres backtrading marathon, som Jerremy lige talte om. Så kan I se det. Altså, det bliver sådan hen over natten i morgen jo, men stadigvæk. Så der er i hvert fald en mulighed for at få lidt backtrading der, og så er I selvfølgelig alle sammen velkommen til at droppe forbi på torsdag, hvor jeg backtrader fra klokken 8 om morgenen til klokken 8 om aftenen. Der bliver live streaming på YouTube, og så får selvfølgelig også på Zoom, så I kan interagere der også. Og jeg er helt med på, at mange af jer er på arbejde og laver alt muligt andet i løbet af dagen, og det er sådan, det skal være. I kommer bare, når I har tid og lyst, og så det hele bliver optaget, og så kan I jo en sen aften sætte tempoet op på 2 gange speed, og så se mig blive trættere og trættere, mens jeg taler. Okay, lad os stoppe her. Tak fordi I kom alle sammen. Kan I have en god aften. Vi ses på torsdag.